It's finally time for our main event. The much-anticipated rubber match between Manny Pacquiao of the Philippines and Erik Morales of Tijuana, Mexico. Morales won a close, unanimous decision over Pacquiao in the spring of 2005, but then was stopped in round 10 of their January rematch earlier this year. Tonight, they write the third chapter to boxing's latest great trilogy. Pacquiao Morales III is being brought to you by Wynn Las Vegas Resort and Country Club. Budweiser, bright, crisp, clean, pure. This is Budweiser. This is beer. And by HBO Pay-Per-View, the best in pay-per-view entertainment, brought to you by HBO. With wins over Marco Antonio Barrera and Erik Morales on his resume, tonight is Manny Pacquiao's chance to firmly establish himself as the premier 130-pound fighter in the sport if he's able to emerge with a victory against Morales. Erik Morales, meanwhile, enters the ring as the clear underdog with 3 losses in his last 4 fights, including the knockout loss to Pacquiao in January. This may be Erik Morales' last shot to revive a career that has produced unforgettable ring wars over the course of the past 8 years. I've been calling fights for 20 years. I went to a lot of boxing matches before that. This could be as raucous, as noisy as any boxing crowd I've ever seen. Emmanuel Stewart. Earlier this year, the very great Marco Antonio Barrera, Morales' longtime foil from Mexico, got a look and a taste at the hard punching of Rocky Juarez. And when he fought him in a rematch 3 months later, basically totally finessed him and went by him with a very experienced, brilliant display of boxing. Is that something that Morales could do to Pacquiao?
He could do it, but I don't think it's going to happen. There's too much of a warrior inside of Morales. He's a fighter. And I don't think that he could fight a disciplined type fight like that for a whole 12 rounds, in particular with a guy like Pacquiao who's going to come to him and make him fight. And he's going to have to fight at a certain point in time. He cannot get away by just fighting a technical fight the way that Barrera did. But also, Rocky Juarez was a more tentative, aggressive young fighter. He didn't come in with full force the way that Pacquiao is going to attack Morales. So therefore, that's a big difference.
Tentative is the last word that would ever be applied to Manny Pacquiao, who is all in, all aggression, all the time. He is the Texas Hold'em star of big-time boxing. And Larry, he's maybe the most exciting fighter in the world. But in the first meeting between the two, Morales was a little too big and a little too skilled for Manny Pacquiao. So is it possible that even as good as Pacquiao is, he wouldn't be able to beat a top-flight, perfectly conditioned Erik Morales fighting at his best?
Morales is trying to get back to where he was, which is possible for a night. But Pacquiao, who came to the U.S. just 5 years ago, recently removed from the flyweight division, has become a more well-rounded fighter and a strong fighter. He used to be a one-trick tiger, the big left hand. He's much more than that now. So if this was a midterm elections, he'd be the Democrat. But in this game, you got to duke it out in the ring between these candidates.
Indeed, no exit polls. So we await the two fighters in the ring, but before they walk, 3 national anthems to come from center ring. Let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer to set it all up.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask everyone to please rise for 3 national anthems. First, here to sing the national anthem of the Philippines, Ms. Sarah Geronimo.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay, lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupit, di ka pasisiil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw, may may dilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kisnap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagdidingding. Ang bituin at araw na kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng luwan, hatid pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. Here to sing the national anthem for Mexico, please welcome Mario El Cachorro Delgado.
Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero apresta y el brinón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Ciño patria, tus sienes de oliva, de la paz del arcángel divino, que en el cielo tu eterno destino por el dedo de Dios escribió. Mas si osare un extraño enemigo profanar con sus plantas tu suelo, pienso, patria querida, que el cielo un soldado en cada hijo te dio, un soldado en cada hijo te dio. Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero apresta y el bridón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. ¡Viva México!
And now, ladies and gentlemen, again, please remain standing. Here to sing the national anthem of the United States of America, supported by the Nellis Air Force Base Honor Guard. From the United States Air Force, Master Sergeant Robert Brooks.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight last gleaming, and whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof
Middle of the tape now for the third meeting between Manny Pacquiao and Erik Morales. Manny Pacquiao, 27 years old at the very peak of his career. Erik Morales, regarded by some ring experts as potentially an old 30. So many wars, so many big rounds, so much intensity in his career. An inch-and-a-half height advantage for Morales. An arm-length advantage measured from the armpit to the end of the fist of 1 inch for Pacquiao. They both weighed in a pound under the 130-pound limit tonight. Morales has gone up only to 139 unofficially, while Pacquiao has put on 15 pounds of rehydration to go to 144. So Manny, for the first time, will enter the ring with a functional weight advantage against Morales. Punch stat numbers from preceding fights.
In the first fight, as you can see, Pacquiao threw many more punches, but Morales landed many more punches. The second fight, Pacquiao again threw more punches. In that fight, he landed more punches.
Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Manny Pacquiao-Erik Morales fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. In case of cuts caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards after 4 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be saved by the bell at any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
We went back through the record books to try to find which fighters in the history of the sport had 2 trilogies that might match the intensity of what Morales has experienced against Marco Antonio Barrera and now against Manny Pacquiao. Larry, what kind of fighters did we find?
Well, you have to go all the way back to Ali for his trilogies with Norton and Frazier among elite fighters. And before that, you got to go way back to Sugar Ray Robinson, who had 3 trilogy pluses in his career. So it is very, very unusual what Morales has accomplished. He says it's a myth that it has worn him down.
40 years ago, Bob Dylan had a line in a song called Visions of Johanna. The ghost of electricity howls in the bones of her face. Emmanuel, when the ghost of electricity howls in the bones of Erik Morales' face, normally that means he's ready to fight. But you say perhaps he has crashed and burned to make weight too many times.
Yeah, you know what bothers me a lot is the last fight when he lost to Pacquiao, the way that he went down. He went down to his knees in a manner very much reminiscent of the way that Arturo Gatti did when he fought Bellamir, which was like, I'm tired, I'm done. I've had so many hard fights. And it was not just a one-punch knockout or something to type. And I don't know if he can rebound from that. And, you know, he made the weight, but I don't know if that's the proper weight for him at this age and time in his career.
Well, we'll see how he fights. He himself says, Manny Pacquiao didn't hurt me with power punches. I simply ran out of gas because I was not properly conditioned for that fight. I was not working with my normal trainer, my father. I was with someone else. I've brought my father back, and this will be the old Erik Morales. That's Erik's case. Astonishing stats in Erik Morales' career. He's had 17 fights against fighters who've won title belts. He has gone 8 or more rounds 23 times. Not many fighters have worked harder. Manny Pacquiao, 19 fights since he became a star here in the United States. 15 wins by knockout. The only loss in those 19 fights was the decision loss to Erik Morales the first time around. Pacquiao already has knockout wins over both of the great Mexican featherweights of the era, Morales and Barrera. Now can he match Marco Antonio Barrera's 2 wins out of 3 in a trilogy with Morales? And Larry Merchant, while we talk about all the ring wars and the tremendous workload that Erik Morales has had in the ring, for Pacquiao, the problem has been outside the ring distractions by the bushel bull.
Well, now that you mentioned it, Jim, we learned earlier that Pacquiao's representatives have returned about $500,000 in bonuses and other monies to Golden Boy, which Golden Boy had signed him. So there's going to be a royal battle. The checks were not accepted by Golden Boy. There'll be a royal battle in the court. He brings this stuff with him, but he also comes to the ring like one of those guys who not has a band coming behind him, but is the band.
In fact, he's entering to his own recorded song. Much like Oscar De La Hoya in the United States, Manny Pacquiao is a recording artist in the Philippines. His most recent album sold 50,000 copies in the first week, and the song you just heard was from that particular record. Now let's go to Michael Buffer for official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, by way of Wynn, Las Vegas, Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated is proud to present the grand finale, the third and final chapter in one of the great trilogies in boxing history, sponsored by PokerStars.net and the King of Beers, Budweiser. This bout is dedicated to the memory of a true friend of boxing. He was president of the European Boxing Union and for 30 years, executive vice president of the WBC. Rest in peace, Ruben Martinez. This is the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC International Super Featherweight Championship. Sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairman Dr. Tony Alamo, Executive Director Keith Kaiser, World Boxing Council President Jose Suleiman. At ringside, the three judges scoring this bout are Guido Cavalieri, Dwayne Ford, and Glenn Trowbridge. And inside the ring, the man in charge of the action at the bell, referee Vic Draculich. And now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white with black, official weight 129 pounds. Professional record, 48 victories, including 34 knockouts with 4 defeats. He is the former super bantamweight world champion, former featherweight world champion, and former super featherweight champion of the world, damas y caballeros de la zona norte, Tijuana, Mexico, Erik el Terrible And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white with flame, official weight also 129 pounds. His professional record, 42 victories, including 32 knockouts with 3 defeats and 2 draws. From General Santos City, Philippines, former flyweight champion of the world, former super flyweight champion of the world, the reigning and defending WBC International Super Featherweight Champion, Manny Pacquiao.
All right, gentlemen, this is for the WBC International Super Featherweight title. You've received your instructions in the dressing room. Again, I want to caution you. Any punches below this point are going to be called low. Golpes de bajo, de este punto, ser llamado bajo. With that said, I want you to obey my commands, protect yourselves at all times. Obedezca mis comandos y protegerse a sí mismo siempre. Touch on it now, good luck to both of you. Tóquenlos, buena suerte.
Hide the women and children, if any of them are still awake.
know about you, Larry, but the kind of women I know love this stuff. Round one begins. Will it be a boxing match? Will it be a brawl? Will it be a little of both?
Morales looking like he wants to engage. Pacquiao just figuring out what he's doing.
Pacquiao's belief is that Erik Morales wants to come and try to get him early. After what happened in the last fight, Pacquiao believes that Morales doesn't believe in his gas tank, doesn't think he can go down the stretch with the Filipino slugger. So Manny thinks that Morales is going to try to impose his size early. But tonight, unofficial weights, Manny's the bigger guy.
Well, you know, the fact that Morales wanted to use the puncher's gloves also created a little interest to me, at least. Normally, he would be asking for the winning, but he wanted to go with the gloves that Pacquiao wanted, which means I think he wants to go for the power punch this fight early.
Indeed, there's been quite a story of the gloves since the first fight. In the very first fight, Erik Morales had a contract that required both fighters to wear winning gloves. They are called pillows by some. They are more hand protective than punch promoting. In the second fight, they got to wear the gloves they wanted. Morales wore winning. Pacquiao wore his beloved Reyes puncher's gloves and knocked Morales out, which he had said would be the case. Now in the third fight, both fighters choose to wear the puncher's glove, Reyes.
Pacquiao's already landed a couple of good body punches to test Morales's, not only his defense, but long-term his stamina.
Well, Morales is made to wait, as I said earlier, but I just don't think that that's the proper weight for him at this age and time in his career. And going down the stretch, I think that may be a big factor, too, as well as the hard fights that he's had.
And if Pacquiao thought Morales was coming to try to get him early, Erik has shown none of that in the first round, as he nearly stands his ground in the middle of the ring and takes a right hook from Manny Pacquiao, who was so much better with his right hand in the second fight than in the first. Another right hook lands.
Manny consistently beating Morales to the punch so far.
And Morales countering with a right hand that knocks Manny back. And Morales again countering properly upstairs. And Pacquiao comes back with his own assault. And both fighters' crowds are on their feet.
You know, technically, Pacquiao is not a solid fighter, as everyone in boxing knows. He often gets out of position often with his punches and does a lot of things awkward and unorthodox, but still there's so much fight in him that it takes him through. In this case here, I just don't think that Morales is strong enough. And when he misses his punches, I'm looking at his legs. His legs doesn't seem to be that coordinated.
For these fighters, this is just a warm-up round.
May have been a one-up round, but the crowd found a lot to whoop about. And when we go to Erik Morales' corner where his dad speaks Spanish, our interpreter is Ray Torres.
Okay, you got to throw on the top. Yeah, throw that left hook to the body. Yeah, you're too far away. Get closer.
You have to stay off the ropes. That's the only zone you get hit. Okay? Yeah. Stay off the ropes for me, okay, son? Yeah. You feel the ropes coming up, you get off them, okay? Use your jab and get off them, okay?
Right here, you see Pacquiao land a right kind of jab hook or whatever you want to call it that Morales just didn't see. He was coming in and didn't see it.
Once upon a time, Pacquiao only had the left stuff. He's got the right stuff behind it now.
That was one of the big changes between fight one and fight two. CompuBox numbers in round one. Pacquiao 15 out of 41. Morales 10 out of 41. Pacquiao with a 10-5 edge in Power Connects. You saw that Judge Harold Letterman, our unofficial score, gave the first round to Manny. Pacquiao crowd chanting Manny, Manny, Manny. Morales, who landed some good right hands in the first fight, tried to drive Pacquiao back with right hands there, but Manny comes back with a torrent of punches from his own. Packed house, and of course you have ardent, spirited Mexican and Mexican-American Morales rooters sitting next to and among ardent, spirited Filipino and Filipino-American rooters for Pacquiao.
And what's interesting, a lot of the Mexican fans like Pacquiao themselves too because of his style of fight and being so aggressive.
And because of the Spanish-speaking tradition of the Filipino archipelago. Or the Philippine archipelago. Another body shot by Pacquiao. When they get close to the ropes and Morales throws his right hand, you can see why Freddie Roach asks his fighter to stay away from the ropes and in the center of the ring. Good jab by Morales. Sweeping right hand partially blocked. Now Pacquiao lands a right and a left. And another right hook. And a left hand over the top. The sheer aggression of Manny Pacquiao. Difficult for every opponent.
He looks so strong and so sturdy as compared to Morales. Even though Morales is landing, he seems to be still uncoordinated as compared to...
Down goes Morales on a Pacquiao right hand.
Left.
And Morales thought that he had Pacquiao in trouble.
He got overexcited, overextended himself, and left himself open.
I just don't think he has the strength or the stamina to hold over Pacquiao.
That was the fourth time in his career that Erik Morales has been knocked down. Two of them were in the last fight against Pacquiao, and they led ultimately to the end of the fight. The first knockdown of Morales' career was a glove-touching brush with the canvas against Marco Antonio Barrera in the 12th round of their first fight. So he's never exactly been thunderously put on his back, but he goes down easier against Pacquiao than against anybody else he's ever fought.
That's because of how quick Pacquiao's fists are, and he doesn't see the punches coming, Joe.
Pacquiao again landing his straight left hand. Morales chases him and lands a right. They trade punches at the ropes. And when they trade punches, Morales takes a gamble with Pacquiao's strength and power.
Pacquiao is a 2-to-1 favorite in this fight, so far justifying the odds.
But Morales is a fighter, so he's going to fight all the way until this fight is over with.
Manny. You're speeding too much for him.
Don't just stand in front of him. Keep his distance.
Manny throws so many punches, sometimes it's hard to isolate the knockdown punch, Emmanuel. Let's take a look.
Here you see Morales coming in with an attack but Pacquiao just shoots a punch, which Morales was out of position and knocked him down. A lot of was balanced.
Hit him with both the right and the left, got him to go down. CompuBox numbers in 2, and you see the flurry with which they ended the round.
This is vintage Morales here.
Fighting back after he had been down in the round.
He always wants to get the last punch. The great fights with Barrera was attributed to that attitude of his of wanting to have the last punch.
Letting his hands go, Erik Morales threw 80 punches in the second round, but Manny Pacquiao throwing only 55, landed 24, 3 more than Morales. So Pacquiao a little more precise, and you won't often say that. Normally he's just throwing because he is a noisy storm in the ring.
Pacquiao is fighting a much more intelligent fight now than he did earlier, about 4 or 5 years ago. I think hearing Freddie Roach worked a lot. His jab is a lot better. Even right there, he tried to counter with a jab after blocking a jab.
Pacquiao landed a right hand upstairs. Erik Morales got to his body with the right hand. Pacquiao much more focused on landing his jab in this fight than was the case in the first 2 fights. Solid left hand, backs Morales up, crowd loves it. And unlike some punchers, Manny does have head movement.
Yeah, those is almost reminiscent of a little Aaron Pryor, where he punched to the body and then comes up on top.
Erik Morales, not afraid to fight with one of the most dangerous punchers in the sport.
Erik Morales likes to get that last punch in.
He has the kind of will that allows some men walk over hot coals.
That right hook, the punch that...
Hard right hand, stunned Morales. Pacquiao's all over him. Thinks he's got a chance. Morales slightly staggered after that last left hand. And down he goes. Solid left hand shot by Pacquiao, who did not like Morales saying that he didn't hurt him with punches in the second fight. Pacquiao was insulted by that.
Yeah.
He said, okay, I'll hurt him this time.
But he's a fighter. He's going to fight still. He's not going to try to run out of press.
What is the referee doing? Why is he holding the fight?
He's forcing him to go back to the neutral corner.
Oh, what a solid left hand by Pacquiao. It's hard to imagine how Morales can last long against this.
Well, until he goes out, he's going to be fighting all the way down. He's not going to back up.
What guts by Morales! He strafes Pacquiao with right hands, even while on unsteady feet.
And he is hurt.
And he holds on for one of the first times in his career. 30 seconds to go. Another huge left hand by Pacquiao. Punch after punch after punch. And he wants to finish Morales right here. And the brave heart of Morales holds up, but his legs go again. Third knockdown of the fight by Pacquiao against Morales.
He doesn't want to get up.
Morales shakes his head as if to say, I want no more. That is that. Dick Dracula stops the fight. Manny Pacquiao has the knockout.
He looked into the corner, looking for his father, as if to say, Pop, I tried my best. I don't have it anymore.
Erik Morales was overwhelmed. Manny Pacquiao goes to another level.
Manny Pacquiao is a big draw. I think this unbelievable crowd is mainly an attribute to a new superstar, Manny Pacquiao, because after such a devastating performance the last time, I never thought they could draw this people. But he's brought the people here because of him and his excitement.
Tremendous excitement. Manny Pacquiao fights the way you want to see a fighter fight.
I expected the fight go exactly as it went.
Well, you were skeptical all week as to whether Morales could produce the one big effort that so many people thought he would.
He made to wait, but he made to wait, and that's like Ali made to wait for his last fight with Larry Holmes, but it was not to wait to be able to perform on a top level in sports. It's no good for him, in addition to the wars as his head. And then he's with a very great, strong, young fighter.
All right, Manny, let's take a look at, and I'm saying this, Emmanuel Stewart.
Well,
let's take a look at some replays.
Manny's name is Emmanuel, too. His real name. Yeah. It's just everything. It's just too much of an attack, the intensity, the fury. The wrong thing for an aging fighter.
It's hard to uphold precision and craft when a guy is just overwhelming you.
And he punches good with both hands now. It used to be with a simple 1-2 puncher with a straight left. Now he does a right hook, uppercuts, everything.
Now, shortly after this second knockdown, if the camera angle shows it to you, you will see, exactly as Larry Merchant said, Erik Morales stares into the corner and looks at his father.
Well, that's the same look that I said before that I saw when he went down the last fight, even though he said it wasn't from a punch. And I saw the same thing with Arturo Gatti. And that's the worst look it is when they say, I'm done, I'm finished.
That's the look, right there.
And Alexis Aguero did it the second fight with Aaron Pryor. The same look, I'm done.
Michael Buffer stands by with an announcement that will bring every Manny Pacquiao rooter back to his feet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 2 minutes, 57 seconds of round number 3. The winner by knockout victory, the fighting pride of the Philippines, still champion, Manny Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao closed the show, landing 51 of 71 power shots in the third round, en route to the scintillating knockout of Morales. Total punches in the fight, Pacquiao landing more than twice as many, throwing about the same number. Morales was brave and wasn't afraid to throw. Look at Pacquiao's connect percentage, 54%. When a giant puncher for the weight like Pacquiao lands 54%, you are going to be overwhelmed. Power shots, Manny was effective with the jab tonight, but landed 83 out of 131 power punches. Look at that, 63%. Morales' numbers weren't bad. He was just lost at sea against the rising tide that Pacquiao still is.
He's a fantastic fighter.
Larry Merchant stands by with the Filipino superstar.
Thank you very much, Jim. Congratulations, Manny.
Thank you.
You thought he would come after you. Did you also think that if he did, you might end the fight early?
You know, I like that. He came in early, you know. He came out early, so I can knock him. I have a chance to knock him out too in the early rounds.
You looked even faster against him with your hands than I can remember in the early fights. You were continually beating him to the punch. Is that true?
Oh yeah, I believe that I'm faster than him and I'm quicker than him, and I think I'm stronger than him. Now I think he felt my power.
So after you knocked him down in the early round, the second round, did you think he's just not the fighter he once was and that you could get him?
Well, he doesn't speak my right hook, so he surprised my right hook, you know, and that's my advantage to him.
So is this the climax of this part of your career? Do you feel that having won 2 of the 3 fights from a great fighter like Morales, that is a very big thing for you?
You know, in my every fight, I live to God, you know. God, he gave me a strength tonight and I won. And, you know, first, I would like to thank to all the people who loves boxing and support us, and also the promoter, Bob Aram, Top Rank Promotion, and also the HBO, and also to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Manny. I have to ask you some questions. Everybody is anticipating that your next fight would be a big fight against Barrera. Is that the fight you want?
As of now, we don't want to discuss about that. You know, I take rest first and spend time with my family and going back home to celebrate my victory, because all Filipinos, millions of Filipinos, they're watching right now and they're celebrating to my victory.
Thank you very much for a great fight.
All right, thank you very much, and I would like to thank to all the president of the Philippines. Thank you for your support, and also Mayor Lito Atienza, and also the SBO. Thank you very much for all your support. Without you, we're not here. Thank you, and Bob Aram also.
Thank you very much. Jim?
You know, the prospect of Manny Pacquiao getting better is frightening to everybody at 130 pounds, maybe even up to 135, but if anything, he was faster, the head movement was better, his punches were harder. I don't think I've ever seen him look any better than that.
And he's got a right hook, which is a great weapon for any southpaw, because everybody looks for the southpaw straight and left. And if a southpaw can develop a right hook, and even better yet, a right uppercut, he's going to be more effective. But I was impressed with him tonight. But I also, just as much, I expected it to some degree. And I still see a lot of flaws in his style. That a rematch with Barrera, I think, is going to be a tough fight for him, as well if he ever fights a Juan Manuel
Marquez
against. I think those 2 fights are going to be tough fights for him.
Yeah, we'll talk about why those are the 2 obvious fights on the table for Pacquiao, Barrera and Marquez. A lot of people want to see it happen. Neither guy has to be terribly anxious to get at him after tonight. Let's go to Larry Merchant and get the reflections from Erik Morales.
Thank you very much, Jim. Erik, you got yourself in as best shape you could to give your best effort. Is Pacquiao just too young and fast at this stage of your career?
Te pusiste en la mejor condición que pudiste para hacerlo mejor. Pacquiao es demasiado hoy en día.
Es un gran trabajo físico, técnico. Me cuidé mucho tiempo. Di por debajo del peso. Hice todo lo que tenía que hacer para ganar. Creo que Pacquiao es un peleador fuerte, rápido. Y bueno, yo creo hay que felicitarlo y ganó a buena lid.
Yeah, absolutely. I did my best. I had the physical training, I had the mental training, all the preparation, everything that I could do to win. Pacquiao was just too much. I did my best.
When you went down the last time, you looked to the corner. Were you looking for your father? What were you thinking at that time?
Cuando caíste la última vez, miraste a la esquina, estabas mirando a tu papá pidiendo ¿qué le querías decir?
No. Ellos me decían que me levantara y que hiciera algunas cuestiones técnicas, pero le cerré el ojo, señal que ya no tenía caso. Yo creo que hay veces que hay que levantarte y hay veces que hay que saber decir adiós.
I was looking to my corner, and they were urging me on to get up, but I said, no, it's to no avail. At times when you need to know when you're beaten, and I think I was a beaten man tonight.
Do you know whether you will continue fighting as of this minute?
¿Sabes tú desde este momento en adelante si continuarías peleando o qué hay?
Lo pensaría mucho. Creo que fue una noche bonita, una arena llena, un gran público de los dos lados, una gente muy emotiva. Yo creo que tendré que pensarlo. Creo que es una muy bonita noche para decir adiós también.
There's a lot of good fans here, a beautiful night, a full arena. I have to think a lot about it. It was a night that just wasn't to be.
You were skeptical that all the hard fights you've had over the years have taken a toll on you. Do you think that is true now?
¿Tú no creías que las peleas difíciles que has tenido en tu carrera te habían agotado un poco? ¿Qué piensas ahora?
No creo. Simplemente creo que ha pasado el tiempo. Pacquiao es un peleador rápido, fuerte. Tiene otra clase de características que los demás no tenían. Y bueno, el tiempo ha pasado. He hecho una carrera impresionante, buena, con el apoyo de Bob. Y yo creo que no tiene caso andar, si tal vez Bob ya no me quisiera promover, irme con alguien más. Yo empecé en Top Rank, mi carrera internacional, y quiero terminar aquí en Top Rank.
I had a long, lustrous career. I've done it all, and with the help of Bob Arum, Top Rank, if they still want to promote it, but it might not be the best thing.
Thank you. You've always had the heart of a champion.
Muchas gracias. Y fue un gran gusto llenar de buenas noches a la gente de peleas grandes.
And it was always a pleasure on my part to thrill all the people with good fights.